Hello, Yankees Nation. Welcome back to your number one home for everything New York Yankees. If you're as passionate about pinstripes, power bats, and playoff dreams as we are, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. From the Bronx to your screen, we've got every pitch, every play, and every roster twist covered. And today, we're diving into one of the most seismic shifts in Yankees roster strategy we've seen in years. 6 trades, new bullpen anchors, infield shakeups, veterans out, prospects moved, Aaron Judge on the injured list. It's all happening at once, and it's not just about this season. It's about setting the tone for years to come. So buckle up. You do not want to miss a second of this. The Yankees Armageddon. Why these moves had to happen? Let's start at the heart of the storm, the Yankees bullpen. If you've been watching closely, you already know it was falling apart. Over the past month, Yankees relievers posted a brutal earned run average of 6.29, the second worst in all of Major League Baseball. Even teams like the Rockies were performing better. Devin Williams, once dominant, has struggled. Luke Weaver, supposed to be a closer type weapon, hasn't lived up to his name. Injuries to Fernando Cruz and Mark Leiter Jr. only poured salt in the wound. The bullpen was not just bleeding, it was hemorrhaging. Brian Cashman had seen enough. And on July 31st, the Yankees front office pulled off a trade that could define their postseason fate. Blockbuster. David Bednar joins the Bronx. The Yankees finalized a deal with the Pirates to acquire David Bednar, the hard-throwing 6'1" right-hander who has quietly become one of baseball's most feared late-inning arms. This isn't just a plug-in arm. This is an elite reliever, controllable through the end of 2026. Yes, Bednar had a rocky 2024 and a rough start to 2025, but after a stint in AAA, he returned looking like Thor with a baseball. In 37 innings since being recalled, Bednar boasts a 1.70 earned run average, a strikeout rate of 34.5%, and a walk rate under 6%. Let that sink in. Opposing hitters, especially lefties, are slashing just .162, .240, .276 against him. That's domination. His arsenal? A blazing 97-mile-per-hour fastball, a devastating curveball nearly 20 miles per hour slower, and a sneaky splitter averaging 92.3. Hitters can't sit on anything. And in Yankee Stadium, with that short porch in right field, Bednar's control over lefties could be a game changer. To land Bednar, the Yankees parted with catching prospect Rafael Flores, a bat-first power hitter with 16 home runs this year across AA and AAA. 19-year-old catcher Edglin Perez, a defensively solid prospect with elite pitch recognition. Outfield speedster Brian Sanchez, who swiped 24 bases already this season in Single-A. That's 3 potential big league talents for one shutdown reliever. Risky? Maybe. Worth it for a bullpen in collapse? Absolutely. But the Yankees weren't done. Just hours later, they made a quieter but still significant move, grabbing Jake Bird from the Colorado Rockies. Bird is no Bednar, but he's a durable, versatile reliever who can eat innings and soak up middle relief pressure. Despite a bloated earned run average of 4.73, Bird had a 2.68 earned run average through the end of June. His collapse in July was real, but the upside remains. He's controllable through 2028, throws a 94-mile-per-hour fastball, and induces ground balls at nearly a 50% rate, a Yankees bullpen trademark. The final piece, Camilo Doval. Just when we thought the Yankees were done, boom, Camilo Doval. In a surprise twist, New York landed the former Giants closer for a package of 4 minor leaguers. Doval is electric, a 3.09 earned run average, 26.2 strikeout percentage, and 52.6 ground ball rate in 46 innings this year. Yes, his walk rate is a concern at 12.6%, but with Devin Williams, Bednar, Weaver, and now Doval, the Yankees have transformed a sinking bullpen into an arsenal. And here's the key. All three are under control beyond this year. That means whether or not the Yankees win it all in 2025, they've got the back-end firepower to reload next year. Let's not forget the rest of the active bullpen. Here's what it now looks like. Luke Weaver, closer, but likely losing ninth inning duties. Devin Williams, David Bednar, Camilo Doval, Jake Bird, Mark Leiter Jr., back soon from injury, Tim Hill, JT Brubaker, Ian Hamilton, Jonathan Loaisiga, and Scott Efros. Javian Sandridge, still in the minors, but knocking on the door. From shaky to stacked, if this bullpen clicks, the Yankees become scary. As the Yankees charge forward into the critical stretch of the season, their revamped bullpen and reconstructed infield may be grabbing headlines, but the real pressure sits quietly on the shoulders of the starting rotation. Because no matter how sharp your defense is or how lethal your bullpen becomes, without a rotation that can hold the line, every postseason dream becomes a mirage. At the top of the rotation stands Carlos Rodon, one of the few healthy and stable arms left standing. Once signed as a frontline ace, Rodon has had his fair share of injuries since arriving in New York. But this year, he's become the anchor by necessity, carrying a heavier workload and often facing top-tier lineups with minimal run support. His command has tightened, and although his velocity isn't quite where it was in his prime years, Rodon is doing something arguably more important. He's giving the Yankees innings. In a time when the bullpen was overworked and overexposed, that durability was priceless. Then there's Max Fried, acquired with high hopes, but currently dealing with a nagging blister issue. It's the kind of seemingly minor ailment that derails elite pitchers. Just ask any ace who's tried to throw a curveball with an inflamed finger. Still, when healthy, Fried is every bit the #1 caliber starter. With a lethal mix of breaking balls and pinpoint location, he's been a quiet force in this rotation. The Yankees are managing him carefully with the long-term picture in mind. October, not August, is the goal. But his status remains a watch point because the Yankees can't afford to lose another starter. Marcus Stroman adds the fire. His swagger, command, and intensity on the mound give the Yankees a competitor every fifth day who doesn't just pitch, he performs. His outings are theatrical in the best way, and in many of the Yankees' grittiest wins this year, Stroman has been the one setting the tone. He might not rack up 15 strikeouts per game, but he works efficiently and with purpose. And when he's in rhythm, the infield behind him, now sharper than it's been all season, turns batted balls into outs like clockwork. Will Warren, the young right-hander, rounds out the current four-man rotation. He's a bit of a wild card. Still learning, still adapting to major league hitters, Warren doesn't always dominate, but he flashes moments of promise. The Yankees are clearly high on his upside. With the rotation in flux and several top arms on the shelf, Warren is getting a crash course in big league pressure. And whether he's part of the postseason staff or not, these innings are molding him into a future contributor. But beyond these four, the real story lies in the long list of names not currently taking the mound. The injured list reads like a who's who of Yankee arms. Garrett Cole, the reigning ace and perennial Cy Young contender, is still on the 60-day injured list. His return, if it comes in time for the playoffs, could shift the entire postseason dynamic. There's cautious optimism in the organization. He's throwing, progressing, and being monitored closely, but elbow injuries, no matter how minor they seem, come with baggage. The Yankees won't rush him. But let's be honest, everything changes if Cole is back in October. Luis Gil, the flamethrower who once looked poised to lock down a rotation spot, is also on the 60-day injured list. His timeline is murkier, but the hope remains that if not this season, he'll be ready to contribute next year with full health and maturity. His development remains crucial, and the Yankees aren't giving up on his upside. Clark Schmidt, who had been a valuable rotation piece in early 2025, is sidelined as well. His injury, though not season-ending, has left a hole in the Yankees' depth chart. The loss of his consistency has pushed young arms like Warren into the fire sooner than expected. Fernando Cruz, Jake Cousins, Yerry De Los Santos, and Ryan Yarbrough round out a group of relievers who, under normal conditions, would have shouldered significant innings. Their absences have forced the Yankees to reach deeper into their bullpen and, perhaps most notably, make the aggressive trades for David Bednar, Jake Bird, and Camilo Doval we discussed earlier. Then there's Aaron Judge, whose name remains the most painful to see on the injury report. Officially, it's a 10-day stint. Unofficially, it feels like an eternity. The elbow strain that sent him to the shelf couldn't have come at a worse time, not just because of the tight playoff race, but because the Yankees' offense has been sluggish, inconsistent, and overly reliant on his power and presence. The good news? All signs point to a relatively short stint. Judge has begun light work, and if all goes well, he could be back by mid-August. But again, the Yankees are playing the long game. It's about October, and no postseason run is truly possible without a healthy, locked-in Aaron Judge in the heart of the order. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a Yankees team that has rebuilt its bullpen with ferocity, a team that overhauled its infield, not just for defense or for depth, but for versatility, speed, and timely offense. A team that traded away young talent like Oswald Peraza and Rafael Flores in exchange for immediate impact. A team that, despite injury setbacks, still sits within striking distance of the division lead and remains firmly in the postseason hunt. And most of all, it leaves us with a sense of clarity. This roster reshuffle isn't about salvaging a season. It's about declaring war on mediocrity. It's about making it clear to the league and to the fan base that the Yankees are all in, right now, this year. They didn't make 6 trades just to sneak into a wild card spot. They did it to bring a World Series banner back to the Bronx. Whether or not that dream comes true, one thing is for sure, this team will be fun to watch down the stretch. And that's a wrap, Yankees Nation. We just took a deep dive through trades, roster moves, injury updates, and postseason positioning. If you made it to the end, you're a real one and exactly the kind of fan this channel is built for. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and tell us in the comments. What was the smartest move Brian Cashman made this trade deadline? Or was there a move he didn't make that you think he should have? We'll be back with more updates, analysis, and breakdowns as the Yankees continue their run toward October glory. Until then, stay loud, stay loyal, and as always, let's go Yankees!